did a great job and appreciated the product that this technology with the most advanced tech produces. Arizona State University is also having a lot of fun with us. They've helped give out popsicles as part of educational efforts, and they have a wonderful video game where you can actually put yourself in the water system and see how this technology works. I'm the mother of an 8-year-old, so anything that involves video games I feel like has a lot of support in our household. So again, we're really excited about what this means for our community. This is good news for our entire country, and we're so thankful to our partners in Washington, D.C. for this investment. Congressman Stanton, since your days on the Phoenix City Council and as mayor, you've been passionate and understood water policy is crucial to the success of Arizona. We're so thankful for your advocacy for this grant, and I'm pleased to introduce you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, very much. Look, this city has the right leadership at the right time on the most important issue facing the future of our state, and that's the issue of water and water conservation during this time of drought. The mayor mentioned the incredible city staff that is here in the most innovative department of all, which is the water department. People don't realize the incredible innovation, strategic thinking, and planning. The vice mayor's behind me. She's been such a strong advocate, providing her leadership and bipartisan support for this important project. So, Vice Mayor, thank you for your passionate advocacy. And this mayor is the right leader at the right time of this city. Her experience with environmental stewardship and leadership from her private life brought that to City Hall. And of course, she has been such a passionate advocate on this particular issue, so it's my honor to partner with her. And she was recognized recently for a national award for her water stewardship. Much well deserved. No better partner on the issue of water. The historic mega drought that we are experiencing is the most significant challenge we face as a state. It's the #1 potential threat to our economic development, to the world-class economy that we are building right here before our very eyes in Phoenix, in the region, and the state of Arizona. From personal experience, when cities are courting investors or businesses, one of the questions they ask, will we have enough water? The answer has been and always must be a resounding yes. Take Phoenix's advanced manufacturing sector. We're not far from TSMC, which the mayor led the way on bringing the largest foreign direct investment in the country right here to Phoenix, over $100 billion semiconductor manufacturing facility, and the businesses that have sprung up around it. The answer is always got to be yes to access to great water. Cities have a responsibility to provide our booming population with clean and reliable water supply, and that means getting the most out of every drop. Water policy in Phoenix and in Arizona is never abstract or theoretical. It is the best potential limiting factor to our success here in the desert. The simple truth is this: Arizona is going to have to fight to protect access to Colorado River water through negotiations, and at the same time, we have to do more with less. We have a responsibility to constantly innovate, to look for bold, ambitious ways to use less water. The most effective tools we have are water recycling and water conservation. Advanced water purification is a proven solution, and we're going to take it to scale, big-time scale, here in our community. Now, Mayor Gallego has built collaborative partnerships, including with water-minded leaders on the City Council, like our Vice Mayor, Ann O'Brien, behind me, and shouldered large costs to make this project a reality. But cities can't go it alone. It takes a true whole-of-government approach to drought-proof our communities. And I am proud to represent the Congress here as your partner, because Congress works best working with our cities, working together as partners. That's why I've worked so hard to get dollars from the 2 landmark water infrastructure laws, the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act, get that money out the door into Arizona communities quickly. And I've said again and again, the federal government needs to prioritize these dollars for innovative, system-wide conservation, not just paying users to leave water in the system to prevent short-term collapse. We need to think long-term conservation. Funding for this project comes from the Inflation Reduction Act's System Conservation and Efficiency Program, and that's exactly the kind of smart, forward-looking investment that the law was meant to support what's being done right here, right now. And we're not resting on our laurels today. I'm ready to work alongside the mayor and other leaders in our region to move the 91st Avenue facility, the 3rd advanced water purification plant that will serve several valley cities. I'm ready to move it forward. These aren't necessarily the most splashy, sexy projects. They're just good, sound water management that will pay dividends for Phoenix and the state as a whole. And we still have work to do. Ultimately, it's going to take big, bold action by the federal government to protect the long-term health of the Colorado River. But this facility, this investment, what the city is doing with these federal dollars brings us so much closer to a more sustainable, secure, and resilient water future. And with that, I think the Vice Mayor is next. We are in her hood, if you will, her neighborhood, and her advocacy, both with Congress and with the administration, were critical to make this happen. The Vice Mayor, Ann O'Brien.
Thank you, Congressman. Good morning. This funding marks a transformative victory for Phoenix, and I'm proud to say it's personal for me and the residents I represent in District 1. When the city first received preliminary approval for federal funding, I was thrilled, and then I watched anxiously as months passed without final word. I knew I had to act, so I traveled to the White House to express my concerns directly about potential federal cuts to critical city projects, particularly the North Gateway Advanced Water Purification Facility. I'm grateful that Christine Glassner, the Deputy Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, understood the urgency and importance of this federal partnership in helping alleviate pressure on the overdrawn Colorado River. This $179 million investment represents exactly the kind of proactive leadership Phoenix needs. And I want to acknowledge the tremendous work of our Mayor Kate Gallego, a longtime advocate of sustainability. The mayor also traveled to Washington, D.C. to fight for our fair share of federal funding multiple times. And I also want to thank Congressman Stanton for championing our project with the Bureau of Reclamation and understanding the technology firsthand by touring our Cave Creek facility. The timing of this funding couldn't be more critical. North Phoenix is experiencing remarkable growth anchored by TSMC's massive semiconductor investment and the dozens of businesses that are following. None of this growth is possible without reliable, sustainable water infrastructure. We're turning what was once waste into our most precious resource. When it goes online, the North Gateway facility will produce nearly 7 million gallons of purified drinking water each day. That's enough to serve about 20 to 25,000 households. This is the kind of innovative thinking that attracts high-tech industries and the skilled workforce that drives 21st century economic growth. It's the kind of innovation that builds resilience for our children and grandchildren. And I can't wait to drink the first glass of clean and purified water from North Phoenix. It will taste like innovation, sustainability, and Phoenix's bright future. I'd also like to thank all of our city staff, and especially Troy Hayes as he is exiting. I think you set the bar pretty high for your fellow directors, so they might not be too happy with you. A $179 million grant on your way out. And now I'd like to introduce David White with ASU's Global Institute of Sustainability and Innovation.
Thank you. I'm honored to join Representative Stanton, Mayor Gallego, the Vice Mayor, and all of our partners in celebrating this major step forward for water security in our region. This $179 million federal investment in the North Gateway Advanced Water Purification Facility reflects this strong commitment to securing our long-term water future. The facility will use proven, advanced technologies to create a reliable, safe, and affordable source of drinking water for the region. And I'd like to say, as the chair of Phoenix's Water and Wastewater Advisory Committee, I was first appointed to this position by Representative Stanton when he was the mayor of the city of Phoenix, and then reappointed by Mayor Gallego. And I've had the pleasure of working with this department under multiple directors, including Director Troy Hayes. And congratulations to Troy on retirement, and congratulations to Brandy Kelso on coming in as our incoming director. And I will say, in that time, I observed a department that is incredibly forward-looking, innovative. Every challenge that we've faced in this region, whether it is resilience to Colorado River water shortages, whether it's infrastructure investments, whether it's public-private partnerships, municipal partnerships, and now advanced water purification, the city of Phoenix has been at the leading edge nationally in water resource management. And water security is foundational to our public health, our environmental quality, and our economic development. Phoenix continues to grow, and ensuring access to this drought-resilient water supply is essential to supporting jobs, attracting businesses, and sustaining our quality of life. And at Arizona State University, we're proud to partner with the federal government, the City of Phoenix, State of Arizona, and our many partners, including our private and commercial partners. Our faculty and students are contributing to the science, the engineering, and the social dimensions of water reuse. And in particular, we recognize that public understanding and public acceptance of advanced water purification is critical to the success. So building trust through transparency, through education is as important as the technology itself. And as Mayor Gallego mentioned, one of our projects is developing a virtual reality program that allows people to tour advanced water purification facilities, shrink themselves down to the size of a water molecule, and follow themselves through the purification process. And Mayor Gallego had a chance to experience this, as did much of our water services department. It's just one example of the work we're doing at the university to try to drive forward innovation. So universities, local governments, federal governments, private industry, and communities, when we work together, we can develop and deliver solutions that are both innovative and practical. And the water tastes like innovation. I think you should trademark that. I'm going to use that line. I love it. So thank you to Representative Stanton, Mayor Gallego, for your leadership and for your commitment to a sustainable water future. And we look forward to supporting you in this continued work. And I think the mayor is going to take questions to start.
Once the water's treated, where will it go? Will it be hooked up to homes or pumped into the canal system?
So we hope that it will be ready in 2030 and go and serve our community. Do you want, you want to?
Where's the water going?
My name is Nazario Prieto. Good morning, everybody. We're very excited to be here. Thank you for all your hard work on this. I'm the Assistant Director of the Wastewater Utility, and just really excited to be able to be here today and to be able to continue the pure water plan that Phoenix has. In terms of where this water will go, at this point in time, we haven't fully designed it yet. We haven't gotten there yet. But one of the thoughts is that it will go to our customers. It could happen they go directly to our customers. It could happen that we send it to recharge basins. So we're still kind of looking into that, but the thought is that over time it will provide additional water resources to our potable water customers.
And just to follow up about the filtration process a little bit, can you explain how it's similar or different from reverse osmosis? I imagine it goes through RO and then a couple of other steps.
So as I mentioned, we haven't designed it yet, but if I can talk a little bit about Cave Creek and what we do here. One thing that you have to remember is we've been treating wastewater for decades. The industry knows how to do that. We're required to treat it to a certain level before we can put it to beneficial use, before we put it to the environment. So when we talk about advanced water treatment, we're taking that highly treated recycled water, running it through additional treatment processes. Here at this plant, what we're doing is we're running it through a series of treatment barriers to clean the water even further. So it will have reverse osmosis here. Also have MBR technology, which is membrane bioreactors, biological nutrient removal, and then we'll have ultraviolet advanced oxidation process with granular activated carbon contactors as well. So we call it advanced water purification. In reality, they're proven technologies that have been used at treatment plants for many years. A lot of them, they're just not put in series like we're putting them here. So it's just going to be, the water is going to be the cleanest water that we'll be providing in Phoenix.
And can you speak to the finances of the project at all, like how the cost of the recycled and purified water will compare to the cost of just freshly pumped?
It's a great question. We all, we can't sugarcoat it. It's going to be more expensive, but one of the things that we have to consider is how expensive is not having water? What is the cost of not having water? So what this is going to do, it provides another water resource. But even looking at potential cost on the Colorado River, downriver, we've had people tell us that cost is going up and up and up every single year. So when you start looking at the cost of advanced water treatment, it's actually very cost effective.
Yes, and that's because all projects were. As you know, every single project that was in the pipeline was paused as they reviewed them for the various things that the administration wanted to review them in. Obviously, this project was from the areas that the administration was looking at projects and whether they wanted to stop them completely or not. I disagree with that, but that wasn't relevant to this project. This project doesn't check any of those boxes. This was a good project, and most importantly, this is the so-called bucket 2 money. We needed to make sure that as we continue to draw down the money in the Inflation Reduction Act, meant for drought in the desert Southwest, that we don't continue to spend money to pay users not to use water, which bought us some time. But at the end of the day, we needed long-term conservation projects, and this is right in the sweet spot of the bucket 2 type projects. This is exactly what we need to do to have long-term conservations to draw down less of the Colorado River. And with the mayor's leadership, not only with this project, but when they get 91st Avenue done, in partnership with the other cities, because it's a region-wide effort. I don't know what the exact percentage is going to be, but they will be drawing down a significantly lower portion of the Colorado River than they currently do, making that water available for other uses, including housing if we need it for housing, or economic development if we need it for economic development. So this is critically important to allow our economy to grow. This advanced manufacturing and advanced industries that we are in such an amazing time in our Arizona history in terms of the level of economic development we are doing. This kind of projects is critical. And it is critical, as we're on these 7-state negotiations for the future of the Colorado River, to show Arizona means business on conservation. It'll put us in a stronger position vis-a-vis those negotiations.
You mentioned the social aspect of, courting public trust, and I just was curious, how do you gauge, I guess, the public understanding and, I guess, of this technology now, and what are kind of the goals or benchmarks as this moves forward?
Sure, and I think that's critically important. Before I answer that question, just to reinforce some of the things that both Nasario and Representative Stanton say. As far as the cost, yes, this cost may be slightly more than conventionally treated raw water, but what you need to compare it to is the cost of alternative sources. What would be the cost of desalinating water and pumping that water from Mexico to the United States, or to the United States? What would be the cost of other new sources of water? So that's really the cost comparison that you should be thinking of. And also regarding Representative Stanton's comments about it's not only conservation, which it is, but it's efficiency. That's what we're driving, is efficiency, is doing more with less, right? So more agricultural output, more economic output, more semiconductors, more everything with less water input. And that's what really this project represents, is just building on that long history of efficiency gains in this region and pushing that forward. To your comment about public trust, every approach possible, social science surveys, questionnaires, customer inquiries, public meetings. We have had teams out at every festival that you can imagine, engaging people in creative ways to learn their concerns and address those concerns directly with the appropriate evidence and fact-based responses. And so that's what I think is really important, is recognizing that, yes, people may have concerns, and let's just welcome those questions and engage them in a really important dialogue, and doing it, as the mayor said, through, whether it's high technology like virtual reality and video games, or we recently had an amazing event at the Rio Salado Audubon Center that was called Agua es Vida, that was particularly focused on engaging our Hispanic and Latino communities in their specific concerns. So everything that we can do to engage people is going to help build transparency.
What is the status of the 91st Avenue project right now, and when it's complete, at the time that it is complete, how much will it contribute to the city's overall amount of reclaimed water that it has access to, including with this project?
So that project is in very early stages. We've been working for the last couple of years with, initially our director went out and spoke to the 27 water providers in the valley to try to gauge interest for this regional facility. At this point in time, we're about 2 years in, and there's about 5 or 6 utilities that are still looking at building a regional facility. In terms of how long it's going to take, there's a lot of hurdles to get through, right? It's a very expensive project. There's a whole lot of negotiations that have to happen with the other utilities. lots of logistical things that we have to figure out, but we believe that if we can keep pushing and we get support from our elected officials, and potentially if there's other money to help us build that in the future, we could probably get something built by 2033, 2034 timeframe. In terms of the size and magnitude of it, it really depends on how many other cities and utilities are involved. It could be anywhere from 40 million gallons a day all the way up to 90 million gallons a day. So it really depends on how many people are involved. When you look at the average water production here at the city of Phoenix, we're around 250 million gallons per day across our 5 surface water treatment plants. So that kind of gives you an idea of the level of impact that it would have in Phoenix.
And maybe just to add to that, there's real questions now about whether government can do big things, whether we can work together. Water is a great example that we can. When we announced 91st Avenue's big vision, the mayor of Mesa joined me in that. And we did it based on work that Scottsdale had been doing for more than a decade. So multiple cities working together. Here we are celebrating federal investment that will help make this vision go forward. It is multiple levels of government and multiple jurisdictions working together. It's because we understand the stakes. We have to get water right in the West. But it should be good news for people who live in our community because we really are working together to deliver big results. I am so grateful to the mayors throughout the valley as well as EPCOR who have worked together with us on 91st Avenue. It is going to be a win for our entire region. And again, we ought to celebrate. We're doing big things across jurisdictions.
Just one last question. I mean, on that point, we have the city level, we have the federal level. I mean, what is the state involvement at this point? And could we be seeing more, I guess, from our statewide officials?
Part of how this succeeds is that the state is our regulator, and they have been working very hard to make sure we have a clear process on that. So I want to recognize Governor Hobbs and Department of Environmental Quality Director Karen Peters, who have been really working on this. They also do a lot of the work around desalinization, and we have in Arizona on a bipartisan basis put aside money for several different projects, including looking at desalinization. So I think on water, we still have bipartisan collaboration.
Any other questions? Oh, one more.
Wondering, from both city and the city and federal level, we could hear some remarks on the current new concept that's being considered for the Colorado River supply-based concept, and how you guys are working with a new idea in your conversations at your own levels with folks.
Okay, I'll jump. I think you're talking about kind of the lower basin strategy about how we approach the negotiation. Obviously, these are very delicate and important negotiations. There's a brand new leader of the Bureau of Reclamations who's been named. I hope he gets through the Senate process smoothly as possible, Mr. Cook, and I think he'll do a good job in that position. And I think it's the right approach. I mean, the entire basin should share in the benefits and share in the costs. I think it just makes common sense. And if people want to tie themselves to formulas of distribution from decades and decades ago, when Arizona was a much smaller city and a much smaller economy, that's not good. Not just for Arizona, it's not good for the region. It's not good for the United States of America, because here's why. Those semiconductors that are being built right down the street, that we need to continue to grow, and we're going to need to do more reclamation and conservation in order to allow this most important industry. That's not the success of TSMC is not just of importance here locally, it's nationally. They are making semiconductors that are fueling the future of our military and our military advancement. It is a national security issue that we be successful here in Arizona with what we're doing on semiconductors. Those are secure supply chain in the most important industry for advanced technology as well as military advancement in technology as well. So this is of national importance, and it's important that Arizona have its fair share of that supply. And I think that what you described, that plan of kind of sharing, we don't want to do more than our fair share. We want to make sure we get our fair share based on the reality of the growth, and both growth in people and economic development. We can't be forced upon policies that were based on decades and decades ago when it was a much, much different situation here in terms of population and economic development.
40 million Americans depend on the Colorado River. We have to get a deal that works. It's essential to Phoenix and our future. We want to be creative. Arizona did not cause global climate change by ourselves. The drought is hitting so many communities. So we need to make sure we think intelligently about climate change and what will be the overall supply and then allocate fairly. I can't help myself. I do want to push for the Bureau of Reclamation needs good funding. We need to have scientists. We need to have attorneys who understand the complex law of the river. We need to have the best data and thinkers at the table so that we can get a deal done that makes sense for all of the stakeholders and ensures the continued success of the many states and Mexico who depend so much on Colorado.
It's up to you. It's your show.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good job.